Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Rewind and Replay. I'm Matan.
I'm Adriana.
And I'm Caitlin.
And today we're doing something a little different. We're playing a tabletop role-playing game for your enjoyment. Another announcement. We've got a new member of the larger Rewind and Replay family. That's Josh.
Hi there. I'm Josh Bowser. I'm at UCI with these adorable dorks, and I'm an actor, and I enjoy doing all sorts of things like that. Hence makeup and weird things. I'm really excited to be on with them, and I'll be part of their bigger Twitch family, and we'll see what else happens in the future. Thanks for having me, guys.
Perfect. It's perfect because your last name is Bowser.
Yeah, I know. It's like I was meant to be in video games or something.
Honestly.
Wild.
So you can find him at AO Ghosting. You can see the tag right there on screen, on Twitch, or on any socials. Now, this other guy here with me, below me and to the left, is Eric, who's going to be our GM for today. Eric, tell us a little bit about Brinkwood.
Hi, thanks. Glad to be here. So Brinkwood, The Blood of Tyrants, is a Forged in the Dark tabletop RPG, currently on Kickstarter. I think we're up to like 30 grand or something right now.
Amazing.
Ooh, that's amazing.
We're really happy about it. It's about 300% funding, but we've still got some time left. So you can visit brinkwood.net, basically regardless of when this comes out, because we'll be doing pre-orders and stuff as well. But yeah, just to talk a little bit about the game, it's a tabletop RPG where the players take on the role of brigands, rebels, thieves, and revolutionaries in a castle-punk world ruled by vampires. Think Robin Hood versus vampires, and you won't be too far off. In Brinkwood, player characters work together to try and advance their rebellion, and someday overthrow the vampire lords who rule over Cardenville. So yeah, I guess I'll just kind of take it away then.
I've never heard the term castle punk before.
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
I like that though.
Cool.
I love it.
How would you describe castle punk as opposed to fantasy?
So the main difference is when I say castle, I mean castle as in Castlevania is very much the inspiration of the aesthetic. So it's a setting that is kind of this medieval gothic aesthetic to it. But we aren't terribly concerned about historical accuracy. Much like the Castlevania games, you'll see things like, fairies and mummies and, well, maybe not mummies, but fairies and vampires and, all these crazy things alongside these Gothic castles. But also there will be towers that are just full of gears. There is, kind of primitive flintlock rifles. So it's Castlevania anachronistic in setting. And the punk part of that really applies to bringing a punk intention to bear on the setting. What we're all about is the idea that you're not just here to admire the scenery or brood in your castles or kind of, be sad forever, I guess. The idea of punk being that you're here to quote unquote fuck shit up. You're here to have an impact on this setting, change the world, hopefully for the better, definitely for the better. Just stay mad, stay punk, and let's kill some vampires.
Viva la revolution, man.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, we've already all selected our characters. Before we get into that, do you want to give a little spiel and start us off?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I would like you guys to participate in this.
Ooh.
Yay.
I'm going to try and put it on your screens. You should have a little thing in Roll20 that says background reading, and then you can press a little magnifying glass to get it to blow up. Does everyone have that?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Okay. So how this is going to work is we're going to kind of rotate through the paragraphs. I'll call on people. You'll read the next paragraph, and that way we all get a chance to kind of warm up, because I remember from my theater days that's important, and also we get an idea for what the setting is.
Oh no, it's high school English.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
need some popcorn reading here.
Exactly. It's popcorn reading. So I'll start. Our story begins in Cardenfell, a county on the island of Orsley, itself part of an archipelago known as the Bloody Isles. Cardenfell is rich in natural resources, with deposits of coal and silver, as well as large tracts of fertile farmland. In many ways, it is the beating heart of the Isles. As the saying goes, blood flows from Cardenfell. It is controlled by one of the most powerful and favored vampire counts of the entire Crimson Crown, and is as jealously guarded as it is viciously exploited. Adri.
The vast majority of the population of Cardenfell is kept at or below a subsistence level. You gave me the hard word. Level of economic growth. Most of the population is made up of peasants obligated to pay rent in blood, silver, or labor to the liege lord or landlord who owns the property they live and work on. Blood sterling is the currency of the civilized world and is a powerful mixture of silver and blood, capable of transforming a person into a vampire. Imbibing blood sterling grants otherworldly powers at the cost of drinking human blood.
Who's next?
Matan. Thanks for volunteering.
Okay. All right. Important to note is that vampires are not born or forced into their life or even incapable of leaving it. A vampire who stops drinking blood will find their power wither away and their mortality slowly return. But most are unwilling to sacrifice the gifts of the blood, even if it means they would no longer need to feast upon their fellow man.
Caitlin?
Along the edge of Cardenfell, straddling its border, lies the forest known to all manner of folk as Brinkwood. Since time immemorial, it has been left unmolested, as well as all known to the realm of the Fae. Mothers and fathers warn their children away from it, telling legends of wights, wisps, beasts of snapping teeth, birds of sharp talons, and vines of twisting thorns. Few are foolhardy enough to venture within.
And
But
Josh.
you are not to be deterred by bedtime stories, and where vampires fear to tread, you might find allies. The forest proved itself dangerous and wild, snagging you with thorns, harrying you with beasts, and disturbing your nights with strange cries and calls. But still, you persisted, and in time, the Fae, curious as they were, sought you out. Under the great trees of the forest, on altars of ancient stone, you spilled your blood and pledged yourself to your cause, and the Fae pledged their assistance.
Excellent. Well done. All right. So we're going to start a little in media res here as soon as I pull up my introduction, and we'll get into the story. Our story opens on a winding woodland path somewhere in the north of Cardenfell. It is the dead of night as a carriage races across the muddy road, the hoofbeats of a brace of horses kicking brackish mud into the trees. A coachman, dressed in the livery of a vampire lord, urges the horses onward with the crack of the reins, and the beasts whinny as they gallop down the trail. There can be no doubt that this carriage and its occupants are pursued, hunted, and that the dark will offer no respite as their pursuers chase them down. Our view shifts to each pursuer in turn, brigands all. What do we see as our view shifts to each brigand? What do we hear? What thoughts pace their mind as they close in, working together to hunt their prey? And anyone can kick us off here.
I love that setup. That was the best. Anyways.
Thank you.
I'll go. You see Marin. He is obviously a sailor clad in such apparel. He is scaled and sleek and bony, and you can tell his being is slippery with flashes of emerald along his skin and scales. In this moment, he is just looks nervous. You could tell that just everything is going through his mind, but the most important thing in the forefront of his mind always is, I'm going to get them back.
Very cool. I like it. And where do you see Marin in this scene? Is he in the woods lurking from a tree branch, or standing in the road to block the way?
I think Marin would always be at someone's side. So whoever decides to go next would be who Marin is with.
Nice.
And at that point, we would understand what exactly he may be doing.
Got it.
I will not go next because I have a different idea that does not intersect with Marin.
I'm fine to go next. Matani started talking.
Take it,
All
Caleb.
right. Well, I am Ifig, a very finned, well-toned, alien, ethereal looking, very beautiful, fey, deep folk warrior, wonderful looking woman. I stand here next to Marin, very confident in my abilities of who I am and my family. I am not worried about what is coming. I am confident in who I am and what I am here to do.
I dig it.
I believe that I'm next. My name is Tekla, known as the Bloody Scholar. I've been studying for a very long time. Vampires prey upon the uninformed. They use their powers and their status to dominate others, and when but a bit of knowledge and wisdom could free us all.
And lastly, dancing through the trees rapidly, you would see, either depending on your interests, you would first notice the hooves or the antlers of a merry beast folk prancing about, who, despite her exterior, can think of nothing else other than revenge.
Ooh.
We got
I like
some
it.
roles going on here.
Very cool. So just from my own mental picture, I'm seeing Marin and Ifig blocking the road, maybe around a bend of trees, while Enor, goes through, dances through the forest trees, kind of keeping pace with this carriage. And Tekla would be maybe off to the side, getting something ready, or.
That sounds good to me. Me and Ifig.
That sounds good to me.
All right. So the next thing we see happen is this carriage turns this bend in the woods, and kind of this flash of lantern light from the lanterns hanging on the carriage illuminate the forms of Marin and Ifig in the road. And the startled horses, rear back, and the carriage kind of comes to a halt for a moment, and the coachman quickly starts reaching into his robes, or his coats, I guess, for a pistol to draw it down on the two brigands that are lying in wait.
Now, I wouldn't do that if I were you. If I may be so bold to say.
I just kind of straighten up, stand, and stare right at him.
The coach says, Who are you? Get out of the road. This is the Count's road. You're not supposed to be here.
There's a lot of places we're not supposed to be. And I'll start walking towards.
I'll stay where I am, just staring at him.
Stay back, the two of you. And he kind of fumbles with the pistol, trying to load a bullet into it quickly.
So where would I find any sort of items I may have with me?
Yeah.
If you take a look at your character sheet, on kind of the middle section under items, you should see a list of all the items you could potentially have with you in this moment.
Do we have a certain number that we can check?
Yeah, let's say you guys are at normal load. So that means you can have up to 5 boxes checked. And you don't need to decide right away what items you have with you. Obviously, we're starting in media res. But as soon as an item becomes relevant, you can just tick a box and say you have it.
I'm going to click a blade or two, and I'm envisioning that Marin has a sword and dagger, and he is going to, like, when he sees this carriageman fumbling with the pistol, he's going to take his dagger and throw it right at his arm.
Wow.
As I see this, I will pull out my pistol and demonstrate my calmness to simply just load my pistol quite easily compared to him.
Nice. I love it. I think this is going to be a roll by Marin with some assistance from Ifig, just calmly loading the pistol that she's wielding. So in this case, I'm envisioning this either as prowl or skirmish, because skirmish is kind of a direct attack, but you could also argue that this is more a statement than an attack.
I think it's more of a statement. I'm not so much trying to hurt him as I am trying to stop him from being able to do what he's doing. So that would be a prowl roll.
Yeah, prowl is like the sneaky stuff roll.
All right.
And because Ifig is helping you, you'll add 1 bonus die. So as soon as you click on prowl, there'll be a drop down. The position of this, we're going to say it's risky, and the effect is standard. There are 3 levels of basically situation, ranging from controlled, meaning that the situation is 100% in your favor, risky, that things are kind of touch and go, and desperate, meaning that the situation is turned against you. But in this case, it's risky. And Ifig, as they're assisting, will spend a point of stress to give you a bonus die.
So I get 1 bonus die.
Okay. All right. Oh. We take the highest single die roll. If there are 2 6s, that's a critical. If it's a 6, that's a success. 4 or 5 is mixed results. 1 to 3 is failure. In this case, we have a 6. So you succeed in doing exactly what you want to do, which is, well, you narrate for me. Where's this dagger going?
The carriageman is fumbling with not only his pistol, but as you described, his flowy garments. And so right above where his arm would be in trying to load, I've basically hit like some of the garment with a dagger and has like stopped him from being able to use that arm. And Marin is going to kind of make his way over to the carriageman after that fact.
Yeah, now with the pinned, I'm going to move forward and come up and help Marin look through the carriage.
Okay. So you're approaching both the door to the carriage and the driver at the same time, the 2 of you.
I'm going for the driver. What
You're going
Ifig
for
does.
the driver.
I'm going for the carriage.
Ifig is going for the carriage. So yeah. So as you approach the driver just kind of like bends back and says, "Please, you don't understand. There's the Count. You can't stop them. What do you?"
But we can try. How about you just be a good man and just let us take a look around, huh? We can call this a little bit of pirating.
He continues to make various distressed noises, but is kind of incomprehensible for the moment. As you come to the carriage door, there's kind of like the move of a shadow through this kind of painted window on the carriage door, Ifig.
I'm going to open it very quickly and hold up my pistol straight at whoever is in there.
Okay. Yeah, you fling open the door, bring up your pistol, and see the vampire Count dwelling within has basically done the exact same thing.
Ooh.
And you're now basically in a standoff with them. And he locks eyes with you and says, "Ah, the young traitor girl. I thought it might be you."
Seems
And
beyond the counts here, Marin. Go ahead, Adri. Sorry.
from above, barely noticeable in the night, Anwar would like to dance her way to the top of the carriage, prowling about in the night, getting ready to strike from above if needed.
All right. Yeah, we'll call that a controlled prowl check.
I don't know what that means, but I will click the prowl button.
You will click the prowl button, and you'll select controlled from the drop down and standard from the next drop down.
Gotcha.
A 4. So with a controlled roll, what it means is that there's a minor consequence. You have the choice to resist it, let it happen, or just back off completely. In this case, the minor consequence will just be that when you land on the roof of the carriage, there will be a distinct thunk noise, and that the vampire knows you're up there.
I will let it happen.
Okay. Seems we have a bit of a standoff. And it seems you've brought friends. And he kind of bounces his eyes to the roof.
I never come in unprepared. I thought you would know that by now.
Indeed. So what are you after this time? Silver? Blood? Forgiveness?
I mean, forgiveness. I want to get rid of all of you barbarians who keep killing all these innocents.
Kind of lets off a laugh at that and says, "Well, we'll see how well you phase up against someone who's drank in the last, so what has it been, week?"
I will hold my pistol up right up to him.
He kind of smiles and says, "This'll hurt you more than it hurts me." And then we'll wait for a moment if anyone wants to do anything, but then he's going to pull the trigger.
And that's game, and that's the end of the game. Thanks guys for watching.
Marin is going to. I assume I can hear this.
Yeah, you're standing right there.
Yeah, you're standing like right outside.
Then in my position where I'm in the front, I'm just going to say, now it's a mutiny. And I'm going to like pull on the horses to try and like make the carriage kind of sway out of position.
Okay. Let's see, what would that be? I don't know. It does essentially sound like you're assisting whatever Ifig is.
I would say I'm assisting someone. Yeah, that sounds correct.
Okay. So who's going to capitalize on this assistance?
Yeah, I'll use this to grab him and pull him out of the carriage. And like try to force him down onto his knees.
All right. That'll be a straight skirmish check. Risky standard with an extra die from Marin's assistance.
Okay, so do I just click skirmish?
Yes.
Okay, risky standard. Bonus die 1. Okay.
Cool. Good rolls.
Nice. Very good rolls. Yeah, you grab him and pull him out of the carriage as it kind of rocks. His hand goes up, fires into the, through the roof, narrowly missing Enor. But then you drag him bodily out of the carriage, and his hand like goes to his waist where there's the flash of the steel of a dagger, as you kind of drag him onto the ground.
May I ask an aside? May I ask a meta question?
Of course.
vampire killing rules.
Mm-hmm.
What's the rule here? Stake through the heart? Can we just slice them?
So how it works is generally vampires won't die unless you do a lot of damage to them. They're not invulnerable. You can certainly cut off their head. You can use something called ashwood, which is kind of a rare species of wood that only grows within the Brinkwood that is known to do damage to vampires. But yeah, those are kind of the rules. Is they are just essentially normal people that can take a lot more of a beating than normal. Bullets in particular aren't very effective against them usually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha.
Enor, now that her position is useless, will get down to flank the vampire, and from behind will take out the little satchel she has at her side, and dip like 2 or 3 of her claws in some ashwood because she is from the Brinkwood.
Whoa.
I like it.
I'm gonna count that as a specialized weapon.
Yes.
Cool.
All right. And once you've dipped your claws in this ashwood, what are you going to do next?
I'm just gonna try and wrap my fingers around his throat so that like he sees danger is there, like not just a gun. And then I'm gonna get close and whisper, "I wouldn't do that if I were you. The wicked must pay for their crimes."
I love it. All right. Yeah, this will be again either prowl or skirmish probably.
And then we're gonna go for prowl. Is it risky, controlled, different?
You're flanking him, so we're gonna say it's controlled again.
Amazing.
Ooh, big shmoney.
As you wrap your claws around his throat, there's a distinct hissing noise as the ashwood begins to burn and char his flesh. And he just lets out a scream that is completely inhuman. It's like something out of your nightmares in how like visceral the pain is as he shrieks. And the ashwood kind of smolders and starts flaking off bits of his flesh and ash.
These vampires ain't shit.
This one isn't, at least.
You say. And then we die. Then it's over.
Right. Campaign's over.
Then he just kills all of us.
Mhm.
Another meta question. Do we all know each other already?
Yeah, I'd say this is like maybe your first or second job together.
Oh, okay.
Also, another meta question: are we here to just assassinate or like capture, return? What's the sitch?
It's a little up to you guys. Most of the time you don't really capture vampires. It's more of an assassination thing.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
And there is something he has with him in his carriage that will be very valuable to you. So
at this point, you're gonna hear some huffing and puffing from the woods, and loud footfalls.
Bad wolf?
Yeah, it's a big bad wolf. No, it's a werewolf. That's psych werewolf campaign.
Yes. You thought.
The Twilight campaign.
Yeah, our Twilight RPG next time. Tekla, kind of stumbles out of the woods and says like, "Eno, please don't run so fast next time."
Tekla, where have you been? The job is almost over.
I was sticking with Eno until I'm sorry, one moment, please. And that's
Tekla.
And he's still screaming. The vampires is
yeah, this screaming intensifies.
I'm gonna take that moment of silence.
His neck.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that moment of silence to take my dagger that I threw at the carriage man, and I'm just gonna put it under his throat real quick and say, "Now, be a good lad and don't go anywhere." And then I'm gonna hop off and join my fellows.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. He's too scared. But
I'm looking here at the character sheet under items. Some of the boxes have a little arrow next to them. Does that mean like, do I need a short bow to have a crossbow?
No, that's like literally a drop down.
It's an alternate. Gotcha.
That you can click, and like sometimes it'll give you a little description of it.
Gotcha,
if I remember to do that.
Yeah. Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, some of them just say description.
Yeah, sorry.
It's
I'm gonna-
okay.
I don't think we need a description of a blade or two
Yeah,
or a pistol.
Yeah,
Like, I think I know what a pistol is.
it's okay. It's okay.
I'm gonna, I'm still kind of puffing, but I'm gonna load my crossbow with one of my ashwood tipped arrows, bolts rather, just in case.
Okay.
It seems like they've got it under control, but you never
Yeah,
know.
but always good to be safe.
Absolutely.
Well, any questions before I just... Any reason we should spare your life, dearest Count? Or
Your
can I just...
last words.
His screams take on like the vague impression of words. Stuff like, you'll all pay, I'll kill you all for this, you'll suffer 1,000 deaths, various curses and horrifying bits of blasphemy and etc.
And unfortunately, Ifig is going to get splattered with vampire ichor as I just
Hell yeah.
the rest of his throat.
Hell yeah.
So Ifig, as you are splashed with vampiric ichor, you feel something on your person kind of rumble and thrum. And one of the masks you have with you, whichever one it is craving the blood of this vampire.
Ooh, yum.
Masks?
Yummy.
What are my masks?
The masks are listed under the characters in that drop-down menu, and you can choose one mask if you like to feed this vampire to.
Oh.
Yummy.
I will feed it to Terror.
Yummy.
Terra.
Terror.
Let me just check the rules for this again. We'll just call it 1d6 so I don't waste time. There we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So the Mask of Terror, you pull it out. The masks typically appear just as these very simple wooden bark things, though they kind of change shape and morph the closer they get to vampire blood, as well as just in the hands of their bearer. So what does Ifig's version of terror look like?
Oh, it is just a pitch black mask. Almost like you can't quite see it. It's just
Vanta Black.
What?
Vanta Black.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just almost a void, and the hole when its mouth opens, just a hole, almost like a black hole of nothing.
Cool.
As this vampire screams, his screams and blood seem to almost mix together and forms this long, spindly thread of liquid that flows into the Mask of Terror until, for a few horrifying minutes, not minutes, let's say seconds, this goes on as the blood just drains out of this vampire. And when it's finally drained, he just slumps over and falls down dead.
Nice.
Pathetic.
Can we take a metagame second to go over masks and how they work for people who are watching?
Do you have masks?
Sure. So how masks work is everyone can have a mask. Basically, as a group, you all have access to these masks: terror, violence, riot, torment, judgment, ruin, and lies. Once per foray, which is kind of like the active part of the session, you can choose which mask you've brought with you and which one you're going to wear. And by wearing that mask, it unlocks certain special abilities. Nothing is kind of marked on them yet because you guys haven't chosen masks, but you'll be able to choose one special ability, and you'll also be able to put 3 points into your mask actions, which let you do essentially magic.
Very cool.
And it's all powered by this stuff called Essence, which is gained by defeating vampires and also swearing oaths, which we'll get into when it matters.
Where is the where are the masks listed?
Under characters, there should be a folder called masks.
Under characters,
Newspaper
masks. There we
place.
go. Thank you.
So
I
Ifig
think-
has picked terror.
Yeah.
For this particular.
Yeah.
I think I already know which one Marin would love. And that would be torment. I see special ability tormenting laughter. Oh, it's the laughter of his crewmates just making whoever he may be going
Spooky.
with. Yeah.
Creepy.
Creepy.
I think I might take judgment.
I'm also taking judgment.
No, I take judgment.
You don't need to decide right now. You only have to decide once it becomes relevant. But yeah,
A
that's what
character.
the deal with
Damn
masks
it,
are.
little.
Let's not fight over it until
No, that's what we
Yeah,
have to
that's
do.
what we have to.
Can I change which mask I took? Because I'm looking over and I think I want to do lies instead.
Ooh,
Okay.
sexy.
like I said, you can change it in like a moment because it changes with each new like mini adventure.
Oh, okay.
Meditation.
Yeah, you're not tied to a mask.
Okay.
We've got story to do, people.
Yeah.
Speaking
The
of,
masks are very exciting. I get it, and I appreciate it. But but yeah, feel free to look them over. But don't worry. So in the meantime, yeah, you've just killed this vampire. You've got this coachman pinned up, and you need to get whatever you're here to get out of this carriage.
Yeah, I'll take a look inside.
I look at Honor and I just say, you should have made him suffer a little bit longer.
I wouldn't have minded that.
Did you see how long he was screaming?
She's got a point there.
Actually, it's very dangerous.
What do I find in the coach? Let me get closer to the mic. What do I find in the coach?
Let's have you do a survey check just to see how much you find.
Am I able to assist in any way, or?
Sure. Yeah, you can just go into the coach and start ransacking it with them.
Right,
just
I'm
take
cl-
it to
I'm-
stress. and
I
give
cl-
an extra die.
Oh, there it is. And this is controlled, yeah?
Yeah, this is controlled.
But do I have a bonus dice? Bonus die?
You're being assisted, so yes,
So just the one.
just the one. All right. So yeah, you don't find a whole lot. You find like a small purse with a couple coins, but as you're kind of rummaging around, you find this kind of leather folio that's been folded over, and this is kind of the prize you had heard about. It contains within it sheafs of parchment, each one detailing some alchemical formula and notes on the properties of blood sterling. It's very useful stuff, and perhaps stuff that your allies can help you decipher.
You said it was on what? On alchemy and
Alchemy and blood sterling.
blood sterling. Thank you.
Speaking of which, you have allies that are waiting for you, maybe not too far away. You've kind of set a rendezvous near the forest. So unless there's anything you'd like to do here at this scene, maybe give a warning to the coachman or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll go back. Well, it seems that our parlay is over, and well, you've been a great help, and I now free you. Please don't tell anyone about this.
Do you just trust him to not tell anyone?
Not telling anybody.
Oh.
What? Excuse me. The count is dead. I think people are gonna know.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a matter of not telling them who we are. You can do that, can't you?
Do you think he can?
He kind of like looks between you and like what you've just done, and then like nods very rapidly, clearly terrified.
I hold my
Man.
pistol up to him and I'm like, well, if you ever tell anyone, just remember what we did here, and we're pretty good at finding people.
Again, he doesn't say anything.
I hop off.
I also walk
He's
off.
lost speech at the
Yeah.
moment.
He shat his pants, pissed himself, about to slip into a coma.
It's et cetera, et cetera. So yeah. So you bid your adieu and make your way to meet with your allies. So we come to one of the first decisions. You guys have recently made allies, made friends with one of the various factions that are kind of trying to overthrow the current vampire establishment. It's your choice as to whether or not these allies are the Fletchers, who are bow makers, artisans, and spies persecuted for practicing the forbidden art of archery, the Stokers, radicals clad in zeal and fury, wielding bombs as well as rhetoric, or the humble diggers, farmers, agriculturists, and peasants who have learned to reclaim and reinvigorate land thought all but dead.
Why is archery illegal?
It's a good way to kill vampires.
I like them.
I
Think
mean,
about
I
it.
like them too.
It's it basically, in this setting, all a bow and an arrow is a very rapid way to deliver a stake over long distance.
Right.
I like that.
I like that. I'm a fan of the Fletchers.
Let's do them.
Right. You meet your allies near in the forest. Kind of the speaker for them, their elected spokesman, is a hunter by the name of Haft, who kind of nods as you enter this small clearing. He says, "Well, I trust you all have had a productive evening. Our
That we
intelligence
did.
was good."
Quite.
That it was.
The Count is dead then?
We did our job.
And we retrieved. Show him.
I'll pull out that ledger.
Mm-hmm. He takes it from you and starts like kind of paging through it, and he says, yes, this is about what we expected. You should speak to the Fae about this. They'll likely have an opinion as to how we can move forward. We've yet to see your forest home.
Let's go.
And
I'm skipping. I like to jaunt my way. I am undaunted by the forest. With Faye.
Nice. All right. Haft and the other Fletchers follow you and accompany you deeper into the forest. As you walk through into the forest, the woods themselves contort and bend, shifting to allow passage. And your allies follow you, their faces kind of a mixture of awe and a little bit of fear in kind of the strange magic that lets you stride so purposefully through the Brinkwood. The touch of one of your palms, one of the trees of the Brinkwood parts and reveals your refuge home. It's shifted since you've last been here to accommodate your allies, but everything is still where you left it. Question to each of you is, what small patch of this forest refuge have you staked as your own? And what comforts have you brought with you to remind you of what you fight for?
I think for Marin, if it's possible, he's set up somewhere near some water, perhaps a pond of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
And with him is some sort of lute or stringed instruments, I'm sure. as well as a ripped part of a flag, a banner that would have been on a large ship.
And Tekla's got some books, of course. Fucking dweeb. But also has like a nice, a nicer cot and bag, and yeah, like, I think he's accustomed to a slightly nicer quality of life. He's adjusted to being on the road, but he enjoys his fine livery and whatnot.
Nice.
Yeah. Ifig's area is very clean. It's kind of isolated from everyone else's. She's kind of off by herself. She's got a few books, a lot of like history books, stuff about her past and her family. She's got like a little family sigil that she keeps by her bed, like a little flag that has like her family sigil on it. And then that's basically it. She does not have a lot with her, and she does not want to be reminded too much of her past.
And the rest of the area, the common room, Enor space, Enor usually sleeps outside in a nest, in the water, wherever. For the entire forest is her home, and you see jars of things. You see jars of rocks, jars of herbs, jars of strange liquids in different colors. This is most definitely her space, while everyone else has kind of carved out their own niche. Everything feels home.
Nice. Jars of rocks is my favorite thing.
Jars of rocks. It's just cute little rocks that are like different shapes and shiny.
Oh, okay.
I like shinies.
The shinies. You gotta have shinies.
What fey creature doesn't like shinies?
Exactly. Very good. So, as your allies, worn from your journey, settle into the refuge and begin setting up tents and other makeshift shelters, a whisper from the woods catches your attention. Your Fey patron wishes to have a word with you in the sacred grove just beyond your refuge. You bid a temporary farewell to your allies, promising to return quickly before walking to a stand of trees that bend to allow you access into your patron's grove. Your patron's grove reflects their court, no matter the current season. But which court does your patron belong to? Are they of spring, the court of roses, they of rebirth and renewal, who take their inspiration from the colonial uprisings, who have pushed back the long tendrils of the Crimson Crown's influence, who value allies and accord more than all others? Are they of summer, the court of flames, they of fire and fury, who instill their brigands with a love of more direct and sudden bursts of action? Or are they of winter, the court of frost, the court of slow, inevitable victory, who do not plot, do not scheme, but simply creep into opportunity as it presents itself, and take what they can to speed the inevitable winter that creeps towards your vampiric menace?
Winter is coming.
I think the summer court sounds like us.
I think the summer court sounds like us too.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. So this grove is done up in summer colors. Everything is in full bloom, and it feels even a little bit warmer than the current weather would otherwise suggest. So as you enter the grove, one of you first catches sight of the shape of your fae, indistinct as they move through the trees that border this grove. What roughly do they look like?
I think that's an Enor question.
Me? We found this creature together.
Sure. Summary. Let's think summary. What's like a summer animal that everyone can just imagine?
She's wearing jorts.
Okay. got the Daisy Dukes on, yeah.
Right.
My first thought was like mermaid.
In the forest, that's a little tough, I think.
Magic, baby.
What about like a Lady of the Lake kind of thing?
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, we could have like the grove be around this pool, this lake.
That Marin would love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then let's do that.
So rather than through the woods, you see kind of the shape of this fae,
Yeah.
kind of in a mermaid shape, emerge from the water. After a moment, they come fully into view, clad in their ancient finery. What do they wear?
I think she's made entirely of water.
She's made of water.
That's-
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
I
Cool.
think
I'm
she's
kinda into
water,
it.
but she like looks, you know, like human shaped.
She's like
humanoid.
like the villain from Sonic CD, or whichever one that is.
now
Yeah.
you've lost me, but
Okay.
I like it.
I vaguely have the idea of what you mean.
Water person. I'm into it.
I dig it.
She's not
Finally-
wearing anything, or maybe she has like the shape of like a sundress, almost like a not a long dress, but a dress. But it's all water. Everything's water.
I think she probably has like some cool artifacts that are encased in water, maybe.
Okay.
Like she has like a crown.
So
Yeah.
maybe on the verge of water elemental, perhaps.
Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
a pretty crown, a sundress.
Maybe like a regal necklace.
Hmm The blood of her enemies.
Just all the blood sterling in the world.
Yeah.
All right, and finally, your fae speaks to you. What does their voice sound like?
I imagine it like flowy, like watery.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like bubbling though.
Yeah, not
Right.
The sound of like the water hitting the shore.
Yeah, like calming.
Yeah.
She's our meditation guide.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want you all to sit down, lay down, and close your eyes. You're on
You're on a beach.
you're in a cabin on the top of a hill.
All right. I don't think I can quite nail that, but that's fine.
It's okay.
So long as you guys have it in your minds,
Absolutely.
and our audience can have it in theirs. So she speaks to you and says, "Ah, my friends, come, sit. Have you eaten yet? What is it humans eat again? Is it seaweed? Sunlight?
Seaweed is
Plenty of
good.
both if you
I
like."
do like seaweed. I don't think sunlight will be very filling.
I see. Well, seaweed it is. And she kind of like reaches down and her arm kind of extends as this water elemental thing and just like dredges up just like a pile of seaweed that she like
I eat
splats onto
it.
the ground nearby.
Wow.
If it
Yeah.
gets it.
Enor goes at it like a dog, and this is the point where like you kind of remember, as cute and kind of scary as she is, she's like a furry. She is beast folk. She is animalistic. She has long ass claws. So she's wolfing literally all that shit down.
Inor, we're
I'm not hungry.
having dinner here. Could you not do that?
Who are you? My mom.
I just ignore her and go back to eating.
I'll just
I'd
like
say-
spit some at you.
I take some and I start to like dry it between my like layers of clothes to like make it more edible.
As you eat it, it is fae food, so it is magic. So it tastes incredibly strange, but not bad. Just very strange and very filling, and it kind of has the taste of calm in it. You feel a sense of, waves crashing against a peaceful shore, like we established. And it's salty too because it's seaweed.
Right.
Even though
Fun fact,
this is
I'm
a
salt
freshwater
folk.
pond, it's fine, whatever, I guess.
Magic, baby. Yeah.
Magic. Magic.
So as you eat, your fae patron speaks to you and says, "I'm sure you have much news to share, eh? New allies join us, and we grow day by day." Good, good. They are welcome to the Brinkwood. I'll instruct my fellows not to lead them into unending mazes or to send wild beasts to tear them asunder. But more importantly, your news. What have you brought for me, my children?
Tekla presents it again.
Tekla.
Hector, come on.
I'll pull it out.
Why are you
Always?
one step behind all of us?
Yes, always the slow one.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't exactly have hoofs and the springy legs you've got there. I take my time and I do my work well. I'll pull out the ledger.
Of course. I appreciate your patience. Could you hold it up for me? I'm worried I'll damage the pages.
Yeah. Sure, I'll open it and I'll flip through slowly. I'll give her a good look at a page and then I'll show her another page. And
Yes, I remember seeing things such as this when me and my family fled. Yes, this will do. This will do. Well, the next part of my plan, scheme, attack, whichever. Well, you see, a few sprites have whispered to me of an opportunity, not too far from here. The village of Flaypool. Do you know it? A place of wondrous color, I'm told, though the folk there seem a bit sad. My friends whisper to me of blood that isn't blood, a great river of it that stained the earth beneath it red. Blood that isn't blood, blood that might poison vampires foolish enough to drink it. And here we have the formulas to mix it. What do you think, eh? A clever opportunity, isn't it?
Blood that poisons vampires. I like the sound of that.
Quite intriguing.
How would we do it?
It's folk things. Perhaps your new allies can figure it out, the details. Tekla's intelligent. Tekla can probably come up with something.
I've already begun my thoughts on the subject. Already begun my thoughts? Who fucking says that?
I love it. It's great.
Good. We might have some answers by next week then.
I'll jot something down in my notebook.
I'm sure Tekla will have a wonderful solution. Won't you, Tekla? But in the meantime, and she kind of yawns and stretches. When you finish your food, you may depart and speak to your allies of these things. They might know more of Flaypool and provide a more practical view.
What's the city called?
Flaypool.
Can you spell it?
Sure.
What dumbass.
No worries.
Thank you.
Flay. Okay, I was hearing blade, and I was like, "There's no way that's right."
Less playful.
I was
Geez,
thinking
please,
Flaypool and
no, entire.
Flaypool, and I wasn't sure.
No, it's FLAY.
That's kind of worse. This is kind of bad. That's
Yeah,
not
It's
good.
not
Spooky
great.
name.
You know.
I don't want to get flayed.
And they already have rivers of fake blood, so the name is appropriate.
All right, well, I guess then I didn't eat in the first place, but I'll head back to the camp.
Do we have a name for our Fey creature?
Would anyone like to suggest one? I forgot to think of one.
I call her auntie.
Auntie.
She's my aunt. But
We can call her Rivera.
Sure.
like a river.
Auntie
lake.
Rivera.
Auntie Rivera.
But it's a lake.
Auntie Rivera.
I like Rivera.
Great. It's a pun. It's clever because she's actually a lake. It's great.
Yeah.
Oh boy. will
It's not her
confuse
real
anyone
name.
looking for
Her
her.
real name is unpronounceable and would drive you to madness, so it's fine.
As always, May, it's been a pleasure to see you again, Auntie Rivera.
You too as well, my dears. Rest well and enjoy your sleep. Yes, that's what folk do. They sleep.
So yeah,
I take my leave. Yeah.
same.
Same.
Right. You all take your leave, and the forest kind of grows back into place over your phase grove. Your allies have been, setting up kind of their camp and area. They see they've got some tents up. They've already started, some of them fletching arrows. They've also kind of started setting up kind of a makeshift archery range. And they've also started kind of small fires to cook their food and eat it because they're primarily hunters.
Don't start a forest fire.
Exactly. They're being
Don't.
very careful.
And Or is upset.
They have very clearly done all the proper steps. I don't know how to make a fire.
You bank a fire with a lot of stones.
There you go.
That's what
They
you
do that. They are very careful not to burn down this forest. But yeah, Haft kind of motions you over when he sees the four of you return.
Haft?
Hello again, my friends. I trust your meeting with the Fae was productive.
As always.
Intriguing, to say the least.
Good. Well, we're at your disposal as long as we stay here.
Well, we're looking to head to Flaypool.
Flaypool.
Yeah.
It's an interesting place. Why would you want to go there?
We've got a lead.
It would seem that there is some fake blood at work. It could help us poison the vampire.
Fake blood. It could poison a vampire. Do you mean the red flow?
What is that?
It's a foul river of dye that runs from the dye pools of Flaypool. Gives the village its name, I suppose.
Then I would imagine so.
Yes. Yes, it could be confused for blood if mixed properly. Maybe with blood sterling or some other concoction. There's a great
I'd
deal
imagine
of iron in it.
some sort of coagulant might give the correct impression in terms of texture, so to speak.
Precisely. The bloodsuckers consider themselves connoisseurs of blood, but yes, that might be enough to slip past their senses.
Well, we're looking to head out tomorrow.
Oh, well, we can send a few of our people to accompany you, but we do have a few allies in Flaypool on the ground that you should be aware of.
Wonderful.
And their names?
The first, and he kind of thinks for a moment, and motions to another Fletcher who comes over with some parchment, and he reads and he says, "Oh yes, all right. Yes, we have Envil Godest. He runs the guild hall in the Drift Market. He's a guilder man, or at least friendly with them. No friend to the vampires, that's for sure. He makes sure the dyers get a fair price for their work, does what he can to keep the guild intact. A reasonable man, almost to a fault. Then there's Arzella. She heads up the Azure smugglers. They mostly keep to themselves at the old jail. Friendly with the Reavers, they are. Had some run-ins with the Albatross, a vampire lord out near Fell's Hollow. I hear they held their own. They're criminals, of course, but smugglers.
In good company.
In good company, indeed. Smugglers. Yes, that's their primary trade. And
Well, I suppose we can meet up with them once we arrive. How far would it be? By do we have any horses?
you do not, but
Okay.
you can always steal some. Um, there's one more though. I hesitate to speak of her. She's a bit strange. They call her Old Green Tooth. Has a score to settle up with the vampire who rules Flaypool, if the rumors are true. She's one of the poisoners and has a hut out near the backdraft. A final word of caution, though. All three of them aren't terribly keen on each other and aren't likely to want to work together. There's old bad blood in Flaypool. You'll understand once you get there. It'll take you a few days.
You're really laying on these vampire puns. There's some bad blood out there. It's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. I had fun with these.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of the rundown he gives you, the exposition dump, if you will.
Known about the red flow before. How come we've never used it in the past?
Well, no one's... You might not know this, Scion, but most people don't know how to make blood sterling. It's a closely guarded secret.
All right. Well, I suppose we'll call it a night then. We can decide tomorrow which of your friends to visit.
Well, good night to all of you, and let me know if there's anything else I can help you with.
Oh, can I practice? Can I just hang out? Can I practice?
Oh, of course, yes. You're welcome to give it a try. Have you used a bow before?
I live in the forest. How else do you think I hunt?
With your horns.
Yeah, he doesn't answer the question. He just shrugs, and yeah, someone will bring you a bow and let you practice at their archery range.
I'm gonna read before I go to bed. I want to read those notes a little bit about how to make blood sterling.
They are detailed enough that you feel like you could probably figure it out given enough time. It seems like the main thing you need is blood or something that heavily resembles blood and silver. And it's just a mixture. It's just like this series of kind of chemical reactions you put the two through in order to get the end result is the tricky part, especially to make it in any sort of large quantity. So yeah, you would likely need help to make any.
Gotcha.
In addition to needing blood,
okay,
and silver.
Human blood specifically, or humanoid blood.
Humanoid blood. Okay. It's unclear what you would get if you used like pig's blood or something else.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Enor to the shooting range, and I'm gonna say to her, "Care to make some friendly competition out of this?"
Well, okay. What do I get if I win?
If you win, I will carry you so you don't have to walk to Flaypool.
I don't need to be carried. I can carry you. I can carry you. Do you?
I don't need to be carried either.
Well,
usually I'll come in. Usually on the boat we would trade duties during a bet, swap the deck, have cabin boy duties, whatever it is. So
kind of what I was trying to do, but I'm not the best at.
What is a chore?
Yeah.
I'm just interjecting because carrying someone was a strange start.
You're a strange start.
Very well. I will bid you good night as well.
I'm not good at making friends, and fine. We don't have to have this competition.
I How about whoever loses has to do a dare.
A dare?
A dare.
What kind of?
I don't know. Put
What-
like a trick on someone or I don't know, doing like a night walk in the forest or I don't know.
Okay, I agree.
Okay. Pew pew.
Do
Pew pew.
you guys
I
want to
actually-
make rolls for this? Or...
I do want to make rolls for this.
I do,
I do
yeah.
actually have a bow in my room though. It's right there.
Wow, flex.
I have an arrow back here.
Together you can shoot one
Yeah.
one arrow.
Yeah, because I don't know where my arrow is.
My bow is.
It's fine. It's fine. You don't keep track of arrows. It's fine. Yeah. So this will be. It's usually hunt for archery.
Sweet. Is it risky, controlled, desperate?
We'll just have it be controlled because you're both just like competing against each other.
Yeah, it's not dangerous.
Yeah. Just standard.
Oh!
Oh no! Oh
Yes!
So yeah. So you both fire some arrows into the target, but in the end, it's pretty obvious that Enor hit closer to the mark.
Can I
overall.
describe the scene?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so Ifig, what do you look like? Remind me.
very tall, beautiful, ethereal, alien-like.
Right, gorgeous. So you're very refined, a practiced archer, and you shoot dead center. And then Ifig kind of comes behind you, and is like kind of swirling as she's practicing. You're like, how the fuck is she gonna make this shot if she's moving all the time? But as she's dancing around, she shoots and it goes through your arrow.
Whoa.
Some real Robin Hood
Mhm.
type
Oh,
stuff
shit.
going on.
Very nice play, Enor. I do believe that means you've won.
Oh, now you have to do a dare, right?
Go for it.
You should. You should steal something and see if Tekla notices. Steal one of her books.
Steal one of Tekla's books.
Yeah. I mean, you can give it back after. It's just a little prank.
Okay, I suppose. I don't know how I feel about this, but if anything happens, you have to tell Tekla this is your idea. Tekla is quite slow, so I could see this working.
Yeah. It's just a prank. It's not like you're, taking it forever or burning it. You
I've
could
never
burn
done
it.
That's a lot. I've never done a prank before.
Oh. It's something we do all the time here in the forest. How else are you gonna have fun?
Bro, epic prank. Kick someone in the gut while they're sleeping. It's just epic, dude.
Just murder them in their sleep. So-
Slit his goddamn throat.
Throw them in the water. Make sure they can't swim.
Tie him up and put rocks at the bottom.
That's so. It was just a prank, bro. God.
Just a prank, bro.
Okay.
Good times.
I'll distract Tekla.
Well, I've probably gone to sleep by now.
Oh, you're asleep? Okay.
I was reading for a bit and I've probably gone to sleep.
Cool. Then I'm just gonna go straight over and I'm just gonna steal a book.
Do you want to roll for it or just say you do it?
I
Oh.
think it's fair that you just do it.
Yeah,
I
if you're sleeping, I think that's pretty easy.
Okay.
What books do you have there?
Twilight.
Fucking hate you.
I need to do my research on these vamps, man. So I've got that ledger that I was reading on the one that we just got on alchemy and Blitzsterling. I probably have some another book on alchemy, maybe a book on the Fae. I've got probably like 6 books.
Take the one on the Fae. Take the one on the Fae.
I'll take the one on the Fae. And I grab that one and just run.
You did it. You
That was
did it.
really kind of fun.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Have you guys seen New Girl?
I've seen a couple episodes.
There's
Yeah.
a great bit in New Girl where one of the guys, his pranks are always way too much or nothing or absolutely or like tiny. He like cannot strike a right balance where he like will sabotage a wedding or like switch your shoes as they sit on the shoe rack.
I think this was a
Amazing.
good prank. You'll be upset, but then happy when it's back.
Yeah.
Great prank.
So quick world building question. Can Enor read?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I think she's also fairly new to English or common or
Yeah,
whatever
it is.
we're talking.
Or Slayan is
Or
the
Slayan.
fictional language we are inexplicably talking that sounds like English.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, I was just gonna say if you page through it by chance, you might see illustrations that are just completely inaccurate as to what the Fae usually look like. Just like
Pictures.
utter nonsense.
LMAO. That is funny. Yeah, I think the two of us will sit down and just like read the book and stay up and have cool fun time.
Yeah, I think so.
Nice. Very cool. All right. You want to fast forward to the next morning?
Yep.
Okay. So, as you guys are getting ready, you might look at a map of Cardenfell and plot exactly how you're going to get from the Brinkwood to Flaypool. So Flaypool's all the way down here.
Where?
Right here. You can see on roll 20. And you guys are coming from the Brinkwood, which is north of that if you scroll up. You're probably
I'm
not
still
see.
only seeing the allies and cohorts and everything.
The same.
Yeah.
Oh. I might have you on the wrong page.
Uh-oh.
Yes, I
Mayhaps.
do.
That's okay.
Oh,
No,
Oh,
Ooh.
This is the correct page. Sorry about that.
that's okay. This is pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's Flaypool.
Okay.
And you guys are up north from that, probably somewhere in the Brinkwood in the vicinity of Hogswick. So it's up to you guys how exactly you want to get there. We don't need to make this super detailed. The main question is, what are each of you going to be doing during this journey to kind of ensure that you don't get caught by guards, don't get lost?
sorry. Where are we? Can you ping it?
Sure. Well, I'll say you're like here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the question is, how are you going to keep from getting lost, keep from getting harassed by guards, stay on the down low, maybe get past bridges or get across the river, things like that. What is kind of what are each of you going to kind of do to ensure this journey goes as smoothly as possible?
Well, just observation. Like if we're passing through an open area like a bridge, like waiting a while to see who or what comes by and trying to time things such that we aren't out in the open for long or at a dangerous moment.
So are you going to be our scout?
Sure. Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
You're right.
Good.
I'll do some navigation, make sure we're going on the right path, make sure we're not passing anywhere too obvious that would get us caught, and make sure we're like just not going by any place that's gonna be bad for us.
Okay.
I'll scavenge and hunt for food and shit, so we're all not starving.
Good idea. It is good to not starve.
and
Generally.
then I suppose that I will be acting as a liaison between anyone that we may have to speak to, venturing off on my own to perhaps say, hey, I'll give you some coin to look the other way or things like that.
Do we have money?
I have a purse.
You've got a purse of a couple, what are they called? Drams of blood sterling. couple, a jingle of coins, if you will. Enough to pay a few bribes, at least, if you need to. Okay, so it sounds like Tekla will be rolling survey, and Ifig will be rolling command, probably. That's probably the closest to navigation, as well as just kind of tactical concerns. The Enor will be rolling hunt for keeping you guys provisioned. And Marin will roll sway or consort to kind of act as a liaison.
Are these risky or controlled?
These are all controlled standard.
Who wants to go?
Okay. Take the lowest result. Fuck.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Yikes.
I will go next.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Wait, why did the 0 dice thing happen?
Yeah.
It's is it because you have no points in that stat? Maybe?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why would you volunteer for a thing you're not good at?
I have points in my stat. And
Wait.
sway.
Marin does?
I switched from command to sway at the beginning of this.
Can you try rolling it again? That shouldn't have happened then.
Controlled. Also, I was just taking what was left, Adriana.
Maybe
was
you can invent a new thing.
I was
do.
good at other things. I don't know why it's doing that, but
Okay, we're gonna say it's the higher of the 2 dice
okay.
for now, or like
Okay.
we'll just take the first die that you rolled, which in
Great.
both cases was a 3.
A 3.
So
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah, you guys don't do great. So the good news is that you got plenty of food, though you do kind of keep getting lost and keep getting into trouble and keep having to pay bribes and can't really find a good place to rest. And it generally kind of takes you a while to get, unfortunately, all the way to Flaypool. So looks like everyone except Adri and Nor is going to take 1 point of stress, just from the taxing nature of the journey. And we'll go ahead and does someone have the bag of coins marked on their sheet?
I do.
All right, we're going to keep that marked. Everyone else can unmark everything else in their inventory, because it's assumed you've had time to kind of figure out, if you're going to bring something different, and that sort of thing. So, cool. All right, but eventually you do drag yourselves somewhat haggard to Flaypool. You smell Flaypool before you see it. A terrible, acrid scent wafts on the breeze, making you gag and retch until you remember some vinegar-soaked rags your allies prepared for you. Wrapping them over your faces makes the stench bearable, though it only worsens as you approach the village. The few scattered trees in your approach are dead here, though they, along with the rest of the landscape, is strangely beautiful. The trees, grass, and even the dirt are flecked with bits of color, hues of dye that blend and mix into small, muddy pools in your footprints as the ground turns into muck beneath your boots. As you crest a hill, you see Flaypool laid out below you. Bubbling vats of dye mark the village, sending plumes of smoke colored emerald green, shining crimson, and deep azure blue wafting into the air. You see a few of the landscapes your allies advised you of. The Drip Market, an open-air bazaar below the lines of drying linens that splatter bits of dye onto the stalls and shoppers alike below. The old jail, a small, bailey-like keep, has a few cheery lamps lit in the window of different colors, and occasionally you might catch the sound of music and merrymaking drifting up on the breeze. The Backdraft, a long, sloping edge of the village where, when viewed from above, the acrid smoke of the vats mixes into a beautiful rainbow pattern. And finally, the Red Flow, a long wound of a river that drains off from the vats and winds through the entire village, before petering off into a distant delta near the sea, at least a dozen miles away. And in the distance, several miles removed from the village, you see a palatial manor overgrown with ivy and vines, perhaps the home of the elusive vampire lord of Flaypool.
Hmm.
Well,
Which of our allies should we go find first?
I think this is a perfect time to use a flashback, and we discussed this on our way here.
Yes.
Good idea.
So, as we're plodding along, I'll just talk in character. We've got, it seems to me that we have to pick really one of these three, or at least, well, our friend the Fletcher reminded us that these three are unlikely to work together.
Well, all we really need is the ingredients for the poison blood, right? So who has what you need?
It would be the poisoner, I believe.
They'll have silver and blood.
I'm sorry?
They'll have silver and blood.
Ideally, I believe they should be educated in matters such as this.
What I would put out there is that, to me, the smugglers sound like a good route to go with. They may have much more than just silver and blood.
But are they likely to part with it?
I have a background with some smugglers. Perhaps I may be able to use that to our advantage.
All right. And what was our third option again?
Your third option were the guilders.
The guilders.
The kind of guild hall. The people that basically, for lack of a better word, run the local labor union.
That was Anvil, right?
Anvil.
Yeah.
Well, I believe, you two, which way would you lean?
Whichever way gets me closer to killing a vampire.
That's an unhelpful stance, I must say.
No, I quite like that.
You're an unhelpful stance.
I've
Sorry,
been
say that
called
again,
worse.
Caitlin.
I was just agreeing. I said I also like killing vampires. I do think that the smugglers may be a good idea.
All right.
If they don't work out, we could go to
Absolutely.
Old Green Tooth.
Fair point. Let's away.
Ifig,
Yes. Yes.
smugglers, do they like, and I'll give her a hug. Do they smuggle you like this, or why are we?
No, they take things and they travel. How do I explain this to you? They steal stuff and they move it to other cities without it.
Why are they called smugglers? This is smuggling.
No, that's hugging, and you are smuggling me. But it's smuggling in the sense of smuggling. It's like if they were to hug.
It's not snuggling. It's a whole nother concept.
You shouldn't have stopped them. I was enjoying it.
Her brain just broke.
It's smuggling in the sense that they're smuggling the items that they're holding, the illegal items that they've stolen, and they're hugging that very tightly. And then
across borders.
Yes, let me finish. Tekla, did you ever notice I stole your book?
I'm sorry?
You smuggled it.
And that's
the book.
Wait, which
Smuggling. I got it.
You did take it around some borders, so you did smuggle a book. Good job.
Cutting a trick. I got it.
Excuse me. Why do you have my book? Give it back.
I pull out the book and I hand it back to Tekla. Thank you for this. Very well read book.
It's super wrong. It's super wrong.
It is very long. It has a lot of misinformation, and I think you should be more aware about the information that you are reading.
Sometimes the perspectives of the uneducated are precisely what we need, regardless of truth.
This is true.
Now let's away.
Yes.
All right.
You there? Let us through, and then everything is bad.
Yeah, and then it all.
Everything is bad.
All right, up against the wall. It's a search. You know?
I heard you talking about smuggling over there. What are you? Script search.
Oops.
What are you doing talking about smuggling in front of this checkpoint? I don't.
Oh.
No.
No, we meant his book, obviously.
The book that I stole because I'm a thief.
Yeah.
From my friend, though,
my
so
friend.
it's okay.
It's fine.
So flash forward to the smugglers.
Right.
Yeah.
So you approach the old jail. As you come down into the village proper, you see the folk of the village dress themselves in sturdy coats and linens, and wear masks of soaked cloth and heavy brass goggles. Their clothes and what little skin of theirs is exposed is flecked with the dyes they live and work around. Likewise, the buildings are radiant with color. Some row houses are painted in bright, pleasing colors, likely one of the Countess's many beautification projects, though grime and discordant flecks of dye tarnish them. Likewise do statues and strange twisting structures dot the landscape. Many seem like they might have had an idea of a purpose at once, though they all lack some key detail, be it a door, a roof, or some other critical component to make them of any use, as the fickleness of the Countess seems to be passed on to her architects. The old jail itself looks like a jailhouse. It looks like a prison, though the bars have long since been knocked out and replaced with lanterns and a few people slumped and with drunkenness kind of linger outside. It does seem to be the happiest place in Claypool, and a couple annoyed looking young men kind of push their way out through the doors and are kind of followed by the sound of raucous laughter as they leave.
Just loosey goosey, okay? Anor, you're gonna do great. You two, try to have some fun.
All right,
I walk in.
Yeah, I'll follow.
Yeah.
All right.
With my book bag latched.
With your book bag clutched. All right. You walk in and you see essentially a tavern, though it's built out of stone and very clearly used to be a jail of some sort. All the people here, some of them kind of taken off the outer part of their clothes, and you see their skin is likewise dyed in much the same way their clothes are, with kind of splashes of color from all the dyes.
Cool.
There's kind of a number of tables with some serving persons going between them, handing out ale. There's a lot of gambling going on. Tavern keeper. There's a bard in the corner playing a lute, singing a bawdy song of some sort. And kind of in the center of the room is this table gathered, and sitting at the table is a woman dressed in kind of these tattered blue clothes, but over kind of like this very purposeful leather armor. And she has this blue mask over her face that's kind of featureless. And at her back, kind of gathered around, are a number of these similar figures, again, dressed in blue with these kind of tattered blue cloaks. And sitting across from her is a man who is very, very thick, very, very well built. You would
thick.
call him, thick or muscular, perhaps unnaturally so. The scion among you, Ifig, would probably notice him as a lone fang, someone who doesn't have the resources to get blood on the regular, but takes blood sterling occasionally, kind of to accentuate their physical abilities. And he is kind of engaged in a game of dice with a woman across the way. And after he's thrown the dice, he kind of slams his fist on the table and shouts in anger. And the woman in blue and her friends kind of laugh and say, "All right, Bone Thrower, time to pay up. Your credits run out, I think."
I'm gonna go and watch.
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk around the inn and see what I find in places.
See what you find in places.
I'm gonna see what I find in places. Upstairs, downstairs, hidden corner. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I like it. Ifig and sorry, well, Enor was the other one, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can roll a survey to see what I see.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Just go ahead and do that controlled situation.
Why did it roll 2 die?
I don't know. This is very much confusing me now. I don't know why this isn't working all of a sudden.
You know what? That's okay. It's a 3. This life is fine.
Yeah.
It's a 5. Yeah, you don't find anything of any particular note. You do find maybe like a spot that seems like a good place to kind of watch the room from without being noticed yourself.
Cool.
Cool. Yeah, I'm with Marin watching Bone Thrower.
He clenches his fists and says, "You blue cloaks think you own this town. But I tell you what, when the Master of Emerald hears of this, he'll have a thing or two to say about you and how you've abused his servants thusly."
Master of Emerald, do we know who that is? If that's a vampire?
It sounds like something a vampire would call themselves.
Okay.
Ifig might make a study roll or something like that.
I could do a study roll as well. I've got good study.
Yeah. You guys can make a study roll to see if you have heard of this particular vampire.
Okay. Let's see.
I don't think I have.
Fortunately not. Not included in your schooling.
What is this? Controlled?
Yeah.
Oops, I just pinged somewhere. Sorry.
We're going back.
Awesome.
A stressful day.
If it is a vampire lord, it isn't one you have heard of, and one of probably one that is rather unimportant, you would guess. The blue cloaks kind of laugh at this, and they say, and the woman says, "If you don't have the money, Bone Thrower, you shouldn't gamble. Now, you can run back to your bloodsucker master and have him pay your debt, or we can take it out of what you owe, or we can just add it to the pile and take it out of his taxes. What do you think?" Bone Thrower kind of like flexes a little bit and gets up from the table and says, "You should watch your mouth. The vampires are not to be trifled with, as you will someday learn. But yes, perhaps we can call it a temporary stay of your duly owed taxes is in order. Just put it on the tab and we'll we'll see how lucky you are next time. What are you looking at? And he looks and as he's getting up, he like shouts in Marin's face.
Not much, it would seem.
All right. You can react to this before he does it, but he's going to try and grab you by the throat.
So that's when sunglasses drop onto your eyes and
Yeah, exactly.
he explodes.
I all I will do is try to like get out of any sort of like grapple he tries to put me in.
All right. That sounds like prowl to me.
Is this risky
Oh,
or
yeah.
desperate? Okay.
We'll say it's risky for now because he's already got his blood up, so he's not like thinking super clearly.
And standard, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
So this guy goes to grab you by the throat, and what does Marin do?
Like he goes for the throw and you know what they say, like water, I'm using him like his own power. So I just kind of like dodge out of the way and I just kind of like elbow the back of him so he kind of like fumbles over. And I'm just here to watch. I don't need any any of your bad luck.
He crashes into an adjacent table and like kind of gets up, brushes himself off, kind of looks around, looks at Marin, kind of like does like a judgment call that like maybe you're more skilled than you look and maybe he can't win a fight with you super easily. So he just like turns to a random person next to him and like does a quick cheap gut shot to just some random person. And then spits on the floor and says, "You'll all rue the day you crossed the bone thrower. The Master of Emerald will hear of this." And he'll go to storm out of this tavern.
In like the quiet of Bone Thrower leaving, I just kind of point at the guy he punched and I say, "Get that man a drink."
A cheer kind of goes up from the tavern at large, and there's someone pulls the guy up to his feet, and like the bartender kind of looks at you, Marin, like, "You're gonna pay for it?"
I give a little nod, of course, yeah.
And like a few drinks are brought over to him, and he's slapped on the shoulder. The woman dressed in blue motions to Marin and says, "That was a good show. That was a good show, my lad. My scaly little friend. Come down, have a seat, have a drink with me. Do you throw dice?"
I dabble. May my compatriot here come with?
Oh, of course. Your fellows are of course welcome. Any enemy of the Bone Thrower is a friend to ours. And she kind of laughs to herself.
I sit down and I like give like a look to everyone in the room. I don't know if I've noticed Anor and where she's gone, but if I do,
you can't see her.
Yeah, like I just kind of like give like a look around the room, just kind of saying like, yeah, you can come over if you want. Then I sit down.
Do you trust them?
Sorry, are you asking me? My dog started barking and I had to like...
I did hear Manny, yeah.
I had to mute and yell at him.
Do you want to go down and join them? Or do we trust them?
Yeah, I mean, I've never really been in a place like this before or ever drank anything before. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like people. I think we're fine.
Okay, let's stay up here.
Do you want to play a prank?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Nice. I like it.
What do these people say to us?
Well, they get you a drink and they say, "So, we don't get many strangers in Flaypool. What brings you to our happy little burg?"
I suppose I need only say one word. Arzella?
"Ah, you've heard of me." And she kind of like turns to her fellows who all murmur and like kind of appreciatively, and she says, yes, I am. I suppose there's no purpose hiding it. You are standing, sitting, I suppose, before the famous Arzella, terror of Shepforth Isle, hero of Cliffs Black, and plunderer of Fells Deep. What can I do for you?
Well, it is.
Have you come to join?
It is a pleasure to be in such glorious company. Well, Tekla, how about you kind of explain this situation to our new friend?
Well, first of all, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you.
Likewise. Tekla, was it? You
Exactly.
You seem a studious type. You went to school in...
I did. I was quite the studious one. Still am when I can be. But we, as well as I'm sure everybody in this here inn, has a common enemy in the vampiric folk. And we come here because we have the beginning of a solution to the problem. See, we're gonna need some blood and some silver.
Don't we all, friend? Don't we all?
Of course. See, we came to your town in particular because you have a certain something that is yet to be utilized in the war against the vampires, and that is your blood red river. I believe that if I can use the unique dyes found here in your humble town to concoct a sort of a fake poisonous blood for those devilish fiends, I believe I can I believe I can use alchemy and the other sciences to turn that into a substance that will be indistinguishable from blood itself.
In fewer words, we have a way to perhaps end this vampire menace.
Exactly.
It sounds to me like you're counterfeiters who have ideas a little above your current station, but well enough. You are counterfeiters. I am understanding that correctly?
We will make a primary... the short answer is no. We will be making some blood sterling, but primarily we need to be making this fake blood poison.
It's well, I myself don't really understand it, but to the best of my understanding, it is alchemical in nature.
I see. Yes. It sounds a bit like counterfeiting.
Not entirely removed.
And counterfeiting has always been, let's say a passion of ours. An unattainable goal that we have yet to realize, a holy grail, if you will, to produce blood sterling outside of the eyes of the vampires, or something that looks like it, well enough to stand up to close scrutiny, would be rather useful to us in our operation. Do you think you could be counterfeiters?
I believe I could make something indistinguishable from the real thing.
Be very careful with that word, by the way, indistinguishable, because I have had other scholars come to me and say similar things. And
I am not other scholars.
Well, I hope you're not, because the ones I speak of don't have tongues anymore.
Speaking of keeping certain words quiet, Arzella, we come to you in hope of help from you and your brigand. And, well, if this has interested you in any way, perhaps we find somewhere a little more quiet to speak.
Of course. Yes, this is not quite the conversation suited for this lousy rabble. she kind of jokes, raising her voice, and there's kind of like some mock boos and some shouts from around the tavern. Says, "Come, let's go upstairs."
But tell you what, how about we do one round of dice before we go? And I kind of look at Tekla, and I'm like, again, I'm just like looking around the room to see if I find my friends, but like I'm just like trying to buy time for us to like get acquainted, if you will.
I think we're like at the bar trying to score some free alcohol.
This is my way of
today.
saying I would love for them to get a scene right now.
Yeah. So let's cut over to the bar. What are Enor and Ifig up to?
Okay, so
I want to try my hand at a prank. I think I have a great prank idea.
you have an idea? Oh my gosh, this is like next level. Okay, let's go.
Okay, we order drinks for Marin and Tekla.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
But
Imagine the surprise on their face when they get the drinks. They'll be like, "Who ordered it?
Mm.
Where did this drink come from?"
Maybe we make them pay for it for a drink they didn't order.
Oh, that's a good idea.
No, it was your idea.
It was my idea.
Yeah.
They'll
Okay,
be
let's
like-
do it.
They'll be so confused. They'll be like, "Where did this drink come from?" And then
From the bar.
they won't know who ordered it. This is
They did.
a great prank.
Go do it. Let's do it. I'll be your backup.
Ma'am, sir, whoever is behind the bar, I don't know whoever I can order a drink from.
Yes, and a barkeep with kind of ram horns and some other beast folk features kind of turns and is kind of cleaning a glass and just kind of stares deadpan at you.
Those
I
two
help you?
over there, the odd-looking, the fisher guy. He and his friend, they told us to order more drinks for them. They're paying, but they would like 2 drinks over there.
They're too lazy to get up.
Yeah.
Rich people.
He kind of like sighs and then taps a sign that says "No drinks on credit."
oh,
My plan is ruined. My first prank.
Don't give up.
ruined.
Don't give up.
Okay. What else can we do? Oh, what if we order drinks and say it's alcohol, but really it's like not alcohol?
Water? Is water free? I asked the bartender.
Is water?
I asked the bartender,
Is-
is water free?
The water. Do you know where you are? Are you drunk? Is your friend drunk?
No. What's wrong with the water here?
You're surrounded by tanks of toxic chemicals. We haven't had water that isn't brown since before the Countess was born.
I
What
forgot.
do you have that's non-alcoholic?
That isn't what? That is what?
What if you give them brown water and say it's whiskey?
Yeah.
That will kill them.
Oh.
What
Look,
can
look,
we order
look.
that
All right,
does not have alcohol?
I think we just keep going like this until one of the other two are gonna come take us away.
Yeah.
I think that's what happens.
so are we leaving to go talk to?
Yeah.
I think at
in
some
that-
point, like, they do figure out some sort of prank that you can pull that's just like, okay, I'm gonna tell them it's whiskey and it's actually beer. Will that satisfy you? Just to get you guys to leave him alone.
Okay, that's a great idea.
Do you have money?
Do I have what?
Money?
Oh. Is that something we have in our inventory? Do we know?
No. It's fine. You can just, it's fine to just say like you have like a couple coins for drinks.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's reasonable to believe I have some coins.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, and you can do that. All right. I've actually got another appointment coming up, and I knew we were going to go for like 2 to 3 hours. And this seems like a pretty good place to wrap things up.
Yeah.
Before we go.
I love it.
Scene. I hope you guys are having fun. I'm
Oh,
having
ton of fun.
This is
Yeah.
so fun.
Hell yes. I love it.
I love Ifig's and Enor's relationship so
It's
far.
Cute.
It's really good.
Have fun with your whiskey beer.
Yeah.
Yes. So, all right. So we'll plan on doing another episode. We're going to try to get these out before your Kickstarter is over.
Ideally,
Which is what date?
It's
17th?
over October 17th.
All right. Well, we're gonna link your website in the description below. That's brinkwood.net. We should be we're expecting to get this out. I'm sorry, you said the 17th?
Yeah.
All right, we'll be on the lookout for this and more episodes coming around that time. Anything else you guys?
Kickstart that shit. Kickstart Brinkwood if you like this, because there's no this without Brinkwood, without the
I would love to ask, is like the whole Roll20 suite going to be available to Kickstarters and everyone?
This is already available.
Okay.
For the most part, and we're going to make all the assets we use pretty much available. I think, in terms of like the map and stuff like that. That's like part of our stretch goal, part of certain reward tiers. But yeah, the actual like mechanics are just kind of adapted from Blades in the Dark, so anyone can go onto Roll20 and set this up.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
It's super intuitive, very fun. So
I'm really into the system.
Like what you've seen so far, this is really fun. I'm excited to play more.
Yeah,
the
me too.
world that support this dope ass vampire killing universe.
And like pre-generated characters, amazing.
Yes.
Love them. Let's go ahead. I was just gonna say
We didn't make these. I
Oh.
mean, we're good at making characters, but we didn't make these. These are all just from the Brinkwood set. Like, these are people you can play and to put your own spin on. So get on that shit.
Indeed. Very cool.
Anything that just about does it. Well, once again, thank you very much for watching. Expect more episodes of this in coming soon. We put out our podcasts every Friday on YouTube with a video element, or wherever you get podcasts. You can find us on Patreon or on our socials, which are linked below. All of us, the four of us, mostly the three of them, but I'm coming soon, have started Twitch streaming, and you can find those links in the description as well. And we will catch you next time.
Bye.
thank you.
Wow.